All right, get ready to say buongiorno to a card game that might just become your new obsession, because today we're diving deep into the world of Sapone. Got our hands on Marco Colombo's official rulebook, and let me tell you, by the end of this, you'll be well on your way from Sapone novice to savvy Saponista.
It's the kind of game that seems deceptively simple at first, but then it just draws you in with its unique blend of strategy and that certain Italian flair, should we say? A bit of trading, a little bit of bluffing.
I'm already picturing myself sitting around a table with friends, maybe some espresso and biscotti within reach, and everyone's trying to outmaneuver each other with these cards. And the cards themselves sound amazing. Coins, vegetables, tools, even soap.
Oh, the illustrations are delightful, but don't let that fool you. There's some serious strategy bubbling under the surface, especially when you start trying to convince your opponents that your radish is actually a priceless truffle.
Sounds like my kind of game.
Yeah.
But before we get lost in a world of competitive veggie trading, let's talk about the basics. What are the building blocks of this Sapone world? What are we working with here?
Right off the bat, Sapone throws you a bit of a curveball. Two decks, you've got 100 cards total, and they are split between two decks. We've got the market deck, which is where you get all those delightful goods you were just talking about.
So that's the coins, the veggies, the tools,
Yeah.
the stuff we're actually trying to collect.
Exactly. Think of it like the bustling heart of a lively Italian village square. Everyone's vying for the best products, the rarest finds. But there's another deck, too, the soap deck. And that one, my friend, is where things get really interesting.
Ooh, intrigue. Okay, so what makes the soap deck so mysterious? Why is it separate?
It's got its own unique set of cards that you won't find in the market deck. Most importantly, it's home to the diamond card, kind of like the conductor of this whole card game orchestra.
All right, now you have to elaborate on that one, the diamond card. It sounds powerful. What's so special about it?
Patience, patience. We'll dissect its brilliance in due time. But let's just say understanding how the diamond card works is key to really mastering the strategic nuances of Sapone.
Okay, you've definitely piqued my curiosity. So we've got our two decks. Our goal is to collect the best sets of cards. But what does a round of Sapone actually look like? How does a gameplay unfold?
Picture this. Each round is like a day at the market, right? You start with your hand of cards, and the goal is to have the best possible combinations by the time the sun sets, metaphorically speaking, of course.
By sunset, you mean?
When the market deck runs out of cards, that's closing time.
I like it. A race against the setting sun to assemble the most impressive collection of goods. But how do we actually go about acquiring these goods? What are the moves we can make? Fill me in on the mechanics.
So on your turn, you've got two main options. You can draw a card from that market deck, always hoping for a little bit of like to spice things up. Or you can dive headfirst into the real heart of Sapone, the buying and selling.
The marketplace. That's where the true Sapone spirit comes alive. Let's talk trading then. What does it take to be a master negotiator in this game? What are the tricks of the trade?
Well, first you got to choose something from your hand that you're going to try and sell. Could be a tool, a vegetable, even one of your precious coins. You lay that card face down on the table, announce what you're supposedly selling, and this is where the fun begins. You don't have to be totally honest about it.
Hold on. So I could be holding, say, a simple carrot, but announce it like it's the last golden carrot on earth.
Exactly. Now, the other players, they have to decide, do they believe you? Or do they risk missing out on a potentially valuable card? Or do they call your bluff? That's where the doubt mechanic really comes into play.
There's that dad again. It's like a game of Sapone chicken. So what happens if someone doubts a sale?
Mm-hmm.
What are the stakes?
Well, if they're right, if you were trying to pull a fast one, they get that card for free. Nothing like a little triumphant skepticism, right?
I can
Because,
imagine.
if you were being honest all along, well then the doubter, they have to give you one of their cards as a penalty. A little test of trust, you see.
High risk, high reward. I love it. So let's say no one calls my bluff. They all believe I have this amazing secret treasure. What then? Everyone starts throwing coins my way.
Not quite a coin shower, but close. The other players, they now get a chance to offer up cards from their own hand to try and buy what you're selling. And you can decide whether to accept their bids or, like a true market vendor, you can counteroffer.
So there's a real art to this. A savvy player could use this to their advantage. Offload some less than stellar cards while building up a nice pile of coins.
Exactly. Every trade is a chance to inch a little closer to victory. Of course, if no one makes an offer you like, no problem. You just keep the card and your turn ends. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, as they say.
Okay, so we've talked about selling from our hands. But what about buying? How do we tap into those treasures? hidden in the soap deck. Tell me more about that.
Buying from the soap deck is a little more straightforward than the whole marketplace negotiation dance. If you decide to buy, it's a simple trade. 3 cards from your hand for 1 card from the soap deck.
3 for 1, that's intriguing. Makes you really consider those cards you're holding. What kind of cards are we likely to find in the soap deck, though? What's so special about them? So we're handing over a little trio of cards like paying the toll to cross the bridge into Soapland. What kind of soapy treasures are waiting for us on the other side?
Well, you're not wrong to think of it like that. And like I mentioned before, the soap deck is your primary source of, well, soap cards. And trust me, you're going to want those because, remember, most soap at the end of the round, that's a cool 3 points right there.
Right, gotta stay squeaky clean to win this game.
Mm.
But can't be all soap rate. What else is lurking in the depths of the soap deck?
You'll find a few coin cards in there, too. Always handy if you need to catch up in the coin department. But the real kicker is this. Every time you buy from the soap deck, it's a gamble. You don't know what you're going to get until you flip that card over.
Oh, I like that. Adds a layer of suspense.
Yeah.
Do you play it safe with what you've got or take a chance on something potentially game-changing from the soap deck? And speaking of game-changing, I think we've danced around it long enough. We have to talk about the diamond in the room.
Ah, yes. The diamond card. This is the one that can make or break your Sapone game. It's the ultimate wild card because its value. Oh, it doesn't have one. At least not at first.
Okay, now you're just messing with me. How can a card have no set value? It magically transforms into whatever I want.
You're not too far off. Imagine this. You're holding this seemingly innocuous card all game. No one suspects a thing. Then, right at the very end, just as you're about to tally up points, bam! It becomes whatever card you need most.
So it's like a strategic time bomb. I love it. You just wait for the perfect moment to unleash its full potential.
Precisely. Need another coin to push you over the edge? Need a second watermelon to solidify your veggie dominance? The diamond is your ace in the hole.
That is brilliant, but it can't be that simple, can it? There had to be some strategic considerations when it comes to using the diamond.
Oh, absolutely. For example, the diamond doesn't just create a card out of thin air, it duplicates a card that's already in play. So let's say you're neck and neck with another player in the tool category. They've got a rake. If you decide to declare your diamond as a rake, well, you're essentially saying there are now 2 rakes in play.
Ah, I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So you both get the points for having a rake, which means your diamond didn't actually give you any advantage in that category. Almost like the diamond forces you to become a Sapone statistician.
Exactly. You've got to think it through. What will have the biggest impact? It's not just about amassing cards. It's about understanding how they interact, how that diamond can shake things up. Every decision has a ripple effect.
Like a game of chess, disguised as a trip to the Italian market. Okay, so the diamond's been played, the dust settles, the marketplace closes up shop for the day. How do we determine who emerges victorious from this epic card trading showdown?
Well, at the end of each round, players count up their points based on 4 glorious categories. Most coins, best vegetables, best tools, and of course, most soap. Each category has its own point value. And most soap, like we said, reigns supreme with a handsome 3 points.
So you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, so to speak. You want to be a well-rounded Sapone merchant.
Precisely. And here's the kicker. You get bonus points for each additional category you win. So let's say you manage to dominate all 4.
That's a potential 12-point round. We've got ourselves a Sapone tycoon. I'm guessing with that kind of scoring potential, games don't usually drag on too long.
You're catching on quickly. The rulebook suggests playing until someone hits 20 points. But of course, you can always adjust that target to fit your group and your schedule, whether you're in it for the long game or prefer a quick card-slinging showdown.
There you have it. A crash course in the wonderful world of Sapone. The basics, the buying, the selling, the soap, the doubt, and of course, the strategically tantalizing diamond.
And like any good Italian tradition, Sapone is best enjoyed with good company, a healthy competitive spirit, and maybe a few dramatic hand gestures thrown in for good measure.
Who knows? Maybe you'll even perfect that Sapone poker face. Convince your friends that your humble radish is actually a rare black truffle in disguise. From all of us here at The Deep Dive, happy playing.